Congratulations on the first. Good evening.
Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a look around. I'm here to update myself on how things are going here.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garun Snezhevich. He represented the Knave in sending us a large amount of supplies, and is helping with our work. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but we're moving forward. That will have to be enough.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the Spina.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing?
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Huh? You're here too, Clorand?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Farina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision makers. And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Callis.
Wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's lots of exciting material there, I bet.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor, for Navia's sake?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Clorand at any rate.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up. And smile.
Fucking Paimon's adorable. Technically, I also fought gods. So.
Not bad.
She didn't actually fight a god, she was going to duel
Right, hang
a
on
supposed
moment.
god.
Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
I fought a god. I fought gods constantly, actually.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the key. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you after all, Miss Clorand.
Wow, you really do have that never say die spirit. I'm impressed.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Meripede.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nervillet, and he told you, right?
That's a very complete information chain.
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media? I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridesley will make a personal appearance.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case...
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting.
You seem curious about the fortress.
Of course. That Ridesley. I still remember going down to the fortress to grill him for information on my father's case. Boy, Did he take me for a ride? Without telling me anything, of course.
But he did invite you to tea, didn't he?
2 large pots of it, in fact. It was good tea, though.
I have to agree. The tea there
Oh my
is
god,
very good.
they're always talking about fucking tea.
Speaking of that, would you like to have some today? I mean, you've got time, right?
Well, I'd be partial to some shortbread.
Wow, it's like we've got a menu or something. Sure. What flavor of biscuits would you like, Mr. Snezovich?
Me? I'm fine with anything. But I would prefer chocolate, should you have it.
All right. Leave it to...
I'll go over the newly arrived supplies with you later, Mr. Snezovich.
That works great.
Huh. Is it just me, or did you get...
I did. It was a gift from Sijwin. Want to give it a try?
We once thought the Fortress of Meripede would be super scary. But you've got a set schedule, guaranteed food and board, and you can even buy all kinds... Oh, you mean Risley? Well, he does look kind of intimidating. He's actually
Fuck.
pretty easy to talk to once you've had a conversation. Paimon wonders how he's like with the people here. Do they... Yeah, he must be doing something...
Excuse me, did I hear...
Huh?
Excuse me, is someone passing by?
I think I accidentally started Wesley's fucking story quest
Nope,
instead of finishing
Paimon
the
wasn't dreaming.
fucking...
There's someone over there
God
for
damn
sure.
it.
But, Paimon...
Oh, did you hear my call? Thank...
You're inside the box? Why are you hiding in here anyway? If we hadn't happened to pass by...
It's a bit complicated. Can we not talk about that for now?
Whoa, that's terrible.
No, it was nothing quite that.
Just your hat? Huh. Wait, Paimon gets it. Something must have happened to your hair. Sorry. You just need your hat, right? We'll get it back.
I think you may have misunderstood. It's a soft and brown hat. I think I probably lost it near the... It's really important.
Don't worry, we'll be...
Fuck! Yeah, I accidentally started his quest. Damn it.
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgic feeling to this place.
Oh, my legs.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come
Where's
all the way
Shire
to the
Sauce?
entrance to greet us?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head nurse recommended to me.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consenting to my visit to the fortress, sir.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you recall our agreement?
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. I've already taken all the... Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier,
Sir, please don't say things like that.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it.
No, I just... This is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very thankful to the Steambird for...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that genius vibe going on. The boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of legend. Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now? Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself another exclusive scoop.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to get a shot of it.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that loss?
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple?
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. We've seen this kind of thing before. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try this new drink I came up with?
Ah, Siegeween.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, take some pretty photos of our head nurse? Sure. Come on, Miss Siegeween. Over this way. Let's find a brighter spot.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the fortress?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jurrier? Miss Lurvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have your day in the sun. Not that you would want that. Just pity.
I'll just leave the spotlight to you two. I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what about you? Are things gonna change for you too?
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey, everyone. The photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a day.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, traveler, let's go. Till next time,
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory next time. Until then.
No, I love
All right.
this woman.
Last stop, the docks.
Oh my god, can I?
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole time since.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could trick a friend into doing it for you.
Trick a friend? I wonder which of my friends would fall for that.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by, I'll help you make some more friends?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Oh,
You sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater escape magic to him too.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our show eventually.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she wants to take a pic.
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something to say to you. So, Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
That's alright. We were more than happy to help. So...
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. Well, after Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
Oh, great. Now, fuck off.
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
That's 5. 5 gnosises.
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
Well, that's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit... irresponsible?
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Neuvillette has had
you
a
have to play the
significant
game to
change of heart
understand what a
regarding
gnosis
the matter.
is.
So there's some reason for this that only Neuvillette knows about?
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which, I did see him strolling around the entrance to the Fortress of Meripede a while back.
Isn't he real busy and stuff? Paimon didn't think he'd have the time for that. But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about
It's not the getting in, it's the getting out.
Vace returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Are you going to take the gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the
Hence
entire
why Father
world.
is in bracket.
With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks. Switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever? As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
I would...
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
I shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met too. And what do you know? I'm doing the exact same thing right now. So many things have happened, but the pockets are still the pockets. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own paths, and serendipity will lead you to your fated friends. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so
Well, guess we sent Charlotte, huh? Shall we go see what Neverlette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway. The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! So, you really are here, Neverlette! Paimon didn't think you were going to have free time this hour of the day.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all. Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the mystery to us.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
He's so fucking pretty.
Whoa. So that's what happened? Fossilor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians from dissolving.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Fossilor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too!
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, That's right! They say you've given it to the Knave as a diplomatic gift or something!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations! Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the Knave and as an apology to Child.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the Oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association or Focalors deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Focalors had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally hang on a second. Paimon, back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah! Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, it seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live—
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalors' words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalors the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Focalors passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex, huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Udex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlon can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlon have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlon is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the Knave that I believe may be useful to you. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlon. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry over soon as well, all right, Nervalet?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. In itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts, and my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here. I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I didn't. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creepy. Comparing the Traveler to the Death Third, that's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his master and get the
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems like...
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that real?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
Jesus, Neuvillette, going deep there. Alright. Yay, I finally did it! I finally finished the fucking Archon quest. Yay! Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, sir, you're still behind me.
Just play by yourself?
Yeah, I just finished the story. This is NPC Neuvillette.
Your shadows in chat, eh?
Yeah, I know.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more. Ask
Yeah.
away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I suggest that you fully prepare yourself.
I didn't know he was there because I was standing like this, and then all of a sudden I jumped and I'm like, holy fuck, he's right behind me! Yes, I kill gods all the time. I just did another wish, I didn't get anything.
Nothing, eh?
Nothing.
Did you do your Momentous check?
Yep. I'll punch you in the dick. Yeah, there's Neuvillette, so he's on page 16 right now. And I just did another wish, so technically he's here.
Ah! I was lied to! Damn.
That hurt.
Good. That's how Jeremy broke his that.
Now I have... Yeah, so that's done for till tomorrow. That's done. I have to do her chapter. Need to go and need to do that. What did you burn, by the way?
There was apparently residual stuff in the toaster from the last time I used it, so when I used it again, it got a little over toasted. So instead of putting my English muffin down a second time, I just left it slightly chewy. Because I'm like, I'm gonna set off the fire alarm if I put that down again.
Smart choice, smart choice. I don't like killing dragons. I'm currently playing as a dragon.
Hey, Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a Q-tag, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're old friends now, she gets it.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues, but the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties.
That does sound like a tricky situation.
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses. There are only a few days left until the...
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any...
If you're interested in helping, why not maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you...
Oh, it's that guy, huh? Hello there. Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you...
Wow, sounds like we're pretty fit. But to answer your question...
I see. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks...
Disband? You're splitting up the...
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? One last show. And after that, we go... Nobody wants things to just... fizzle out. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood. The show just won't be the same without her.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. What if we sponsored the show?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know she's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the...
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're...
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including... Well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt. Of course, It all depends on whether...
No point in stressing about that. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and...
Thank you for your help. I guess...
Wait, where does Irina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the palace.
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you. I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be a... It is my duty to support commission...
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so...
Well, now that we've got the address...
Ow, my butt. Yes, I love walking into a world quest. Okay, I don't care. Na-da-da. Na-da-da-da. I'm nowhere near a wish. I just want a wish.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here? Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just...
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Okay, when did popping on a thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity! It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre faucilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway,
I want her.
What are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace. Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoo!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you. Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help.
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now. So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific? I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my... But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me. Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to...
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point. Okay.
I've never been at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me. Since I'm just an ordinary person now. They'll probably just true, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Oh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it.
Wow, Serena. Wow.
Nope.
Well, is there anything else we can do?
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong... sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem,
It's all right, Farina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried every... Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now.
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm going home to take...
It's too bad, but we have to respect Farina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories. Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without—
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know this.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troop's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your—
Sorry. I was just dealing with a little
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the—
Jeez, is Lady Farina really—
Only joking, calm down. Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still wrecked.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't— So, are you absolutely sure you—
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their—
You're right. I'm sorry.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list. All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me. Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear you.
Farina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack.
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Farina is fine. I was wondering, if this troupe is— if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause, while everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away...
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, was a victim in this serial disappearances case.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence can bring our director back to us.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Farina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, none of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so... I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here.
Farina?
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely! We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though.
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director. Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability. What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time. Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
The name's not swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me?
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge... All right, follow me.
Lady Farina?
What's Lady Farina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Farina will be supporting our production of the Little Oceanid. In the role, these two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Farina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no— You bet That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form. Does she long to live just like any other human? And sure enough, she found, but one day, her true identity was exposed.
So far, so good.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you...
yeah, like they say, truth is stranger. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our... The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss...
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware.
Our director was constantly singing your praises.
Oh, stop. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their... But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed.
Makes sense. Okay, he went back to Poisson a few days ago.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago.
Yeah, maybe he could use...
Poisson? Nothing. I suppose my So, allons-y. To Poisson!
Allons-y. Okay, I'm gonna burp. I'm gonna grab his thing.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Leo
All right.
has an enduring
Enough with the water. Enough with the water, Nevilette.
Zoom. The water possesses.
We're done.
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me.
You came all the way here?
Alright. Forget that for now.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay?
Okay then.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Farina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Farina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have ends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or... I guess I wasn't quite ready for this.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
What do you mean by that? You expected me to just keep running and hiding from my responsibility forever?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Di Rasula's ship? We should have a view. I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories, they thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear. And I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. Have no further use to people.
I would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
A reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I trust and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Farina you see on stage. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get a pace? I don't know what's gotten into you. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even I have no idea where I'm going right now, at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips.
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula. Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you—
Oh no, looks like... We're back! Could you maybe put your differences as...
You're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too. Like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness.
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think she kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running. It was only after she—
You mentioned earlier that the troop is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness. I spent some years taking whatever work I could find, and it was like that until she took me under her wing.
She sounds like a really...
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troop, and I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was— The other kids were always picking fights with me. One day, I got
Let me guess.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times...
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here.
Farina? The Farina? Oh my god!
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your—
Same here!
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my... I'm sure you're already familiar beginning of... She finds love and friendship in the people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a...
Consciousness?
Water as a conscious entity.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And if we're serious about dedicating this show to what about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court. We waited and waited we looked for her. The guard.
The director was the kindest soul.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont? The one who...
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by...
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that because... Well...
What? You...
It's time to be upfront with you all. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock. I said, maybe one day in the future. Well, maybe then she and now... So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it
In that case, you have to straighten things out. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen...
Well, if that's where we're at, looks...
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
Wind Strider!
Bow your head.
Delphi, are you sure you...
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't—
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. Wait, why?
We're just curious, that's all.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Arc. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should—
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand—
C'est la vie, indeed.
Aww, too bad.
Sorry to leave all the heavy...
Don't worry, piece of— The night is cold.
The wind knows.
Not now. Stars, shine for me.
As one with wind and cloud.
My guiding stars.
The tides beckon.
Don't be scared.
One with nature. Into the wind. Clouds high. The birds call.
I'll protect us.
Settle down.
Bravo! Good show! You live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's lead—
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Vilma, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales. We took on side jobs when we weren't So, anyway, one day after a show, it seemed like a win-win. So, the drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink paddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director, she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, the merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue, but things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up. I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got a—
Hey, don't—
You traitor! What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. How could you be so—
Please, try not to get too worried.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake—
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back in my life.
Get out of my sight! Go!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at it. Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience, but in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You cared. What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that if she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats...
Really? But she sounded like such a...
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a blindness, and it showed. She was a truly outstanding person.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly... I really meant for this to be an apology, but...
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna...
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what the end of the story needs to focus back on Aurelie herself.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that Aurelie left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on Aurelie's true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances? Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application.
So, this is all Aurelie left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too!
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here. Aha! It looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive...
Lachey took so many lives.
I guess Aurelie must have written all of this down and... wait! It cuts... Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible, but her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourself.
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but I can't bear to think how painful and low. Wait. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one.
Isn't that the most important line?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love, and she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey...
Even in the last moments of her life.
She did her best to protect as many. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. Well, Vilmont?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen...
Don't underestimate my experience. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully... And aren't human emotions? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than...
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Farina.
Then, let's not delay things any longer.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make during the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally... Besides, a role...
Well, if you're sure...
Alright, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I...
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place...
That place? Oh, don't...
Whoa, wait, what?
No. That's never going to...
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't...
No,
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll... Come on! We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. Hey, look at that! Looks like I guessed right.
You were just...
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Farina. And you too, Traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event.
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult. The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. But in the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom, but I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions. Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
Thanks, Nervala.
You are very welcome. Many people were once enthralled by Lady Farina's performances. I hope that one day she'll be able to understand that our appreciation was always sincere. This is a topic that has been discussed ad nauseum. Since you hail from beyond the stars, I invite you to be my witness as I judge this upended world. This realm dismantled was of the formidable Father himself, but what now reigns here is a cluster of filthy feathers. Though we live in a world of disarray, I shall undertake to restore all that has been broken. Nothing will stop me from rendering judgment on each of the seven. As the Archon who won the authority of Geo, Deus Ori must be called to trial. If one does not wish to see us on opposite sides of a conflict, they need not worry, for I intend to stay in Fontaine for the foreseeable future, which could well mean another 400 years. As another point of consolation, even when the trial eventually takes place, it is still not a given that the judgment will lead to a physical confrontation. I shall fulfill my vow to judge all of the seven in turn, even if the sky should fall and the ground give way. As the recipient of the authority of Animo, the god of breeze and hope must also stand trial. He spends most of his time being a harmless drunkard. Well, even so, I must meet him for myself and proceed from there. As a survivor of the dragon race who has regained my full dragonhood, I must fulfill my oaths and obligations, even if it means returning all the water in the oceans back to the heavens. In taking the authority of Electro, the Narukami placed herself on the list of the usurpers. She will... Oh, you say she has isolated herself in the plane of Euthymia, and now rarely appears in public. Then I shall pay her a visit in another few centuries. Though the day will come when I put her on trial, I must commend the god of verdure on her sense of responsibility. Few things are without flaws in this world, but the devotion and benevolence she displays are a testament to her commitment to continued progress. I felt enormous regret when I learned of the mistreatment she has endured over the past 500 years. Now the curtain has finally fallen on her performance. The character she portrayed was an imaginary one, yet in playing that role, she fulfilled her duties. Though she is meek and full of doubt by nature, she was able to use madness to stiffen her resolve and see her duty through to conclusion. The work that she has done over the centuries is truly immense. If she were to ever make a return to the stage, I should personally attend the performance and give her my heartfelt applause. Yes, I must do so when the opportunity arises.
She made a contract with her own self to save the nation. Strictly adhered to it for over 5 centuries without once wavering, and even fooled the heavenly principles in the end. I have great respect for approaches to justice that place exacting demands not only on others, but also on the self. Though her divinity is vanished, and the throne of the Archon is no more, Furina will go down in Fontaine's history as a god of justice worthy of recognition.
A bard must be versed in both music and song, but a stage performer requires far more skills than just these. Hey, don't you think we should invite her over to put on a show at the next Windbloom Festival? Huh? You want me to talk about how she saved Fontaine? Well, I mean, she's such a talented artiste, it's no wonder. I wouldn't be surprised even if she'd saved the entire world.
For 5 centuries, I dueled the Raiden Shogun in my personal realm of consciousness to confirm the steadfastness of my will. Yet this Furina you speak of, though possessing a frail human body, committed herself to acting out her part every second of every day for 500 years. A true battle of the spirit. Her willpower has indeed reached the level of a god.
People often say that wisdom isn't about what you know, but knowing what you can change. It is beyond question that the prophecy was carved into ermine so long ago. And while it may look like nothing has, it also seems like everything has. I think we both know her to be smart enough to turn the fate of the world around.
Good news, to my eloquent and impassioned speech, we've had to fight a touching story. Now, let's...
This is true.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, Fiumali and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things.
Wow, you two had a...
Communication is vital to any good
Look at...
It's amazing.
Please feel free to give us any
Hey, Loic, get over here.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the waters?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants...
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid!
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles.
What should we do? It's almost time.
Hey, what's going on? You're... Oh no, not again. But...
They've been getting less and less effective over time.
What? I thought they'd cure it.
I figured whatever it took to get...
How could you do this to yourself? And after...
I'm sorry.
You...
Miss Farina?
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what... Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line.
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Thank you, Miss Farina.
Never mind. No one likes regrets. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned...
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow... What, in your opinion, is the reason
It's her pure heart, despite all the pain.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly...
Is she here yet?
Will she get here?
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Parleras-tu aux chères mères? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My... wish...
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you...
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je serai toujours là,
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Farina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting...
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd... Still, I have to admit, despite everything, it felt good.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Farina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, she's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have...
All right, calm down, don't be mad. This was a group decision. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or in...
Yes, I know the rule, but...
It's no big deal. What's the...
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so...
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the... Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh, I've got no idea what happened there either. But I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how...
Let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, if nothing else, we can safely say that...
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication.
How did the performance go?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Farina was on the stage!
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain, even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your...
Well, one way, I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never
Blaming your bad luck again, are we?
Oh, don't you start.
Aw, you two clearly care...
I don't know what you're...
You mean we never stop art?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is you could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Oceanid to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do...
No.
Yeah, it's what we...
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Farina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our direct...
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped...
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. What about you, Miss Farina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at...
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that maybe Nervilette was right. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, but from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories. I want to watch them blossom, and I'm sure this is what
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your... The more you get out into the world, the more you...
If a vision is a gift from the... then I should do my... It's ironic to think that in my whole... And now that the gods have given me their blessing, is...
The night is cold.
Bow your head.
I see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of Fontaine. I believe I will continue to take...
Settle it!
Not now.
Bow your head.
One with nature.
Abandoned property belongs to whoever finds it first. So, it's legally yours now. Let the record show that I verbally consent to relinquishing these items into your possession.
find.
There is no escape! Going in! Illusion shattered! There is no escape!
One with nature. The wind knows me. Follow the wind. Follow the wind. Who says there aren't benefits to a life of wandering?
Illusion shattered!
Get out here! Booba, get them!
Into the wind. One with nature. Clouds high. The birds.
There is no escape!
the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory,